Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Okay, so in this video I'm going to explain to you how to calculate probability of binomial distribution. Okay, so as a introduction, okay, so your binomial distribution is a distributions to calculate for discrete random variables. Okay, so that means it has exact value. So in binomial distribution there is only two different outcomes. Okay, is the criteria for an event to be a binomial distribution, it must have only two outcomes. Okay, so the outcome is either a success or a failure. Okay, and it is within a sample of trials. We label it as n. Okay, so in binomial distribution is a very simple one. Okay, so examples of real life events that fit with binomial distribution is like rolling a dice, okay, tossing a coin. Okay, and then let's say in the current events, okay, so we are currently taking COVID-19 vaccine shots, okay, to protect ourselves from this getting infected with the virus. Okay, so there is only two possibilities for someone to get the jabs. Okay, so after getting the jabs is either someone will have the side effect or someone will not having any side effect from the vaccine shots. Okay, so since there is only two likelihoods for this event, so getting a vaccine shot is already it can be considered as well as a binomial distribution. Okay, so in binomial distribution, to calculate the probability, you need to use this simple formula. Okay, so p x equals to x, so x can be any value, so it's n choose x multiplied with p to the power of x multiplied with q n minus, okay, multiplied with q n minus x. So what is n, what is p, what is q, and what is x? Okay, so your n here is the total number of trials. Okay, total number of trials in the experiment. Okay, so what is x? Okay, so x is the number of trial we are interested. Okay, what about p? Okay, so what is this big letter p? Okay, so your p is actually the probability of successful outcome. Okay, and q here is the probability of your failure outcome. Okay, alternatively, we can calculate q by q equals to 1 minus p. Why? Because p plus q must equals to 1. Okay, let's look at one examples on how to apply this formula to calculate your probability. Okay, so let's look at the first example. Okay, so normally binomial distribution will be written this way. Y and then b here is actually referring to this is for your binomial distribution. Okay, so what is the value here in the bracket? So the first value should respond to n, number of trials, and 0.4 here is actually representing your p. So you have n, you have p, so that means you can calculate q. Since q equals to 1 minus p, which is 1 minus 0.4 and is equals to 0.6. So your n equals to 6, your p is 0.4. So you already have the required informations to proceed with the questions given. Okay, so first questions, you need to find out what is p when y equals to 5. So p, y equals to 5. Okay, so the formula is nc. Why? Since it is y, so we use y. P to the power of y multiplied with q n minus y. Okay, so your n is 6. Choose 5 multiplied with 0.4 to the power of 5 multiplied with 0.6 to the power of n minus y, which is 6 minus 5. So 6c5 multiply 0.4 to the power of 5 multiplied with 0.6 to the power of 1. Okay, so now use calculator to find out what is the answers. Okay, so you should get your answers to be 0.0369. So this is the probability when your y equals to 5. Okay, so let's move on to the second questions. When P y is greater than 4. Okay, so if you draw an equalities line, okay, so from 1 to 0, 3, 4, 5. So we have the highest number is 6. So y is greater than 4. So it's not y is greater or equals to 4. So that one is this line, and from 4 to the right until you reach 6. So it does not include number 4. So it just have to when y equals to 5 and y equals to 6. Okay, so P y is greater than 4 is equals to P y equals to 5 plus P y equals to 6. Okay, so you have to calculate both. So P y equals to 5 equals to 6 C5 multiplied with 0.4 to the power of 5 multiplied with 0.6 to the power of 1, which is equal to 0.0369. Okay, so P y equals to 6 equals to 6 C6 multiplied with 0.4 to the power of 6 times with 0.6 to the power of 0. So please press your calculator for this one. You will get your probability to be 4.096 times 10 to the power of negative 3. Okay, so to get what is your Py greater than 4, we have to add up both of these values. 0.0369 plus 4.096 times 10 to the power of negative 3, which is equals to 0.041. So this is the value of probability. Okay, so this is the value of probability when your y is greater than 4, which is equals to 0.041. Okay, so let's move on to another examples, which is your example 2. Okay, so 40% of students in a school wear spectacles. Okay, 40%, and 10 students are being chosen randomly. Okay, so find the probability. A, only 3 students wear spectacles, and B, more than 7 students wear spectacles. Okay, so from here, number 10 is actually referring to your N, and 40% or 0.4 is referring to your P. Okay, so it means your P is students wearing spectacles, and your Q is student that does not wear spectacles. So Q equals to 1 minus P, so 0.6. Okay, now let's try to answer question A. Only 3 students wear spectacles. That means only 3. P equals to X equals to 3. So again, what is the formula? So the formula is NCX multiplied with P to the power of X multiplied with Q N minus X. Okay, so this one, our N is 10, C, and your X is 3. Multiply with your P, which is 0.4 to the power of 3. Multiply with your Q, which is 0.6. Okay, so your Q and is to the power of 10 minus 3, which is 7. It's okay, so 10C3 multiply 0.4 to the power of 3 multiply 0.6 to the power of 7. Okay, so press your calculator, so you should get your answers to be 0.2150. Okay, what about B? Okay, more than 7 students wear spectacles. So it should be, if you draw a number line, okay, so we have the highest number is 10. So let's say we start with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's more than 7. More than, starting from 7, more, greater than 7. So it's to the right. So the arrow will be to the right up to 10. So does it include 7? No, because it say more than. So the number should be greater than 7. So the probability should cover when x equals to 8, x equals to 9, x equals to 10. Okay, so P x greater than 7 equals to P x equals to 8 plus P x equals to 9 plus px equals to 10. Okay, so we have to calculate the values individually. Okay, so when px equals to 8, it's 10c8 multiplied with 0.4 to the power of 8 multiplied with 0.6 to the power of 2. Okay, so you should get these answers to be 0.0106. When your x equals to 9, okay, so the equation becomes 10c9 multiplied 0.4 to the power of 9 multiplied 0.6 to the power of 1, which the probability turns out to be 1.573 multiplied 10 to the power of negative 3. Okay, so when your x equals to 10, it's 10c10 multiplied with 0.4 to the power of 10 and 0.6 to the power of 0. And it becomes the probability to be 1.049 times 10 to the power of negative 4. Okay, so we need to sum up all of these values, these three values, okay? 0.0106, 1.573 times 10 minus 3, and 1.04910 times 10 to the power of negative 4 to get the final answer. So, press now your calculator and you will get your answers to be 0.0123. So this is the probability when x is greater than 7. So the answers is 0.0123. Okay. This probability distribution function. And then this is the values, and you need to find out what is n. Okay. So we have p equals to 0.05 and we don't know what is n, so your q is 1 minus 0.05, which is 0.95. Okay, so you have to find out what is n. So I'm going to use the inequalities that we have here to find out what is my n. Okay, so p x greater or equals to 1 is greater than 0.5. Okay, so x is greater or equals to 1, that means it includes all the numbers from 1 and with the largest number still n values. So the only numbers that does not include in the inequalities is when x equals to 0. Okay, so which means when x is less than 1. So 1 minus px less than 1 is greater than 0.5, which in this one is actually, okay, so we're going to rearrange this one. Okay, px less than 1 is greater than 0.5 minus 1. Okay, so px less than 1 is greater than negative 0.5. Okay, so this is negative as well, negative as well. So we're going to reverse the sign. So px less than 1 is actually, okay, less than 0.5. Okay, so your px is less than 1 is actually px equals to 0, less than 0.5. So I'm going to substitute here with the given formula. So your formula for probability density for your probability for binomial distribution is ncx multiplied with p to the power of x times q to the power of n minus x. So when x equals to 0 is nc0 multiplied with 0.050 multiplied with your q, which is 0.95. Okay, so n minus 0, so it's actually n less than 0.5. Okay, so nc0, let's try if 1c0 equals to 1, 2c0 equals to 1, 3c0 equals to 1, 4c0 equals to 1. That means any numbers of n, when your x is 0, all will turn out to be 1. Therefore, we can make a conclusion that nc0 equals to 1. So 1 multiplied with 0.05 to the power of 0, which is equals to 1, multiplied with 0.95 to the power of n is less than 0.5. Okay, so 0.95 n is less than 0.5. Okay, so now let's find out how to get your n. Okay, so n log 0.95 is less than log 0.5. Okay, so and the sign will reverse, greater than log 0.5 over log 0.95. So your n becomes greater than 13.5. Therefore, your n is approximately equals to 14. Okay, so that is the last example for this video. Thank you for watching. See you guys in my next video where I'm going to show you how to calculate the mean and variance for your binomial distribution. Bye bye.